it's now been reported that the original plan for Skull, his original offer was that he was going to debut for AEW in December of last year. He was going to be on the final Dynamite episode.
And you gotta question the wisdom of when it became apparent Skull wasn't going to do that because he re-signed with Ring of Honor for what Meltzer is saying is the biggest contract in company history.
Yeah, the most lucrative deal.
Skull is a performer, but Skull is now a back office position where he's this liaison person. One of those key relationships he's apparently going to try and develop, and it makes total sense, is with AEW. That's where all his friends are. Meltzer goes on to say that might be difficult because I don't know what AEW has to gain at this time from an ROH relationship. But you never know, Skull's got a lot of friends in AEW, so he could be the guy to open up communications and boundaries. What is in it for for AEW? Of course, ROH gets that notoriety.
It's a huge coup for ROH.
Talent exchange, you can get those guys who were selling out ROH shows 2 years ago back.
Yeah, I mean, that Madison Square Garden show, to go back to that again, those tickets, that was sold out on not just New Japan, it was sold out on the Bucks and Kenny Omega and Cody.
And Okada.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it was New Japan and the Elite were essentially, they sold out that building. And then the Elite left, so ROH didn't have that star power anymore. And I think that has then felt throughout 2019, where you've seen their attendance fall with the loss of Cody and the Bucks and everyone else. So getting them back and getting them back onto ROH shows can only mean those ticket sales can rise again.
Huge positives to ROH. So yeah, Meltzer asks, what's in it for AEW then? I think the answer is quite clear. AEW get a house show touring infrastructure where they can develop talent. And ROH, this is not a slight. It might come across as a slight, but no one says it about NXT. ROH can be AEW's official developmental promotion.
That's exactly it, yeah.
There's no harm in taking, if you've got WWE, AEW third place in the North American market, if you're Ring of Honor, that's better than, at the moment, New Japan might get in there and become the third promotion in, or NWA or MLB. There are a lot of other moving parts.
MLW.
MLW.
Not Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball. I mean, it's very competitive out there. Sleep. If you ask WWE, the main competitor is sleep. That's what Vince McMahon will also corroborate. So yeah, I think, look, Ring of Honor, I love Ring of Honor. I am a Ring of Honor fanboy. That was the promotion I fell in love with when I first started getting into that style of wrestling. And the 2010 to 2011-12 Jim Cornette era is one of my all-time favorite bits in wrestling. Kevin Owens, Elgin Epstein, El Generico, Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole coming up through the ranks. But they have always been the promotion where people make their names and then they go somewhere else.
ROH has been the feeder system for NXT, effectively.
Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Nigel McGuinness, everyone, it feels like, has come through ROH.
Austin Aries,
yeah. Tyler Black.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, completely.
It's very rare, you get a Dean Ambrose or a Roman Reigns. Those people actually have not come through that system, but it's largely all ROH guys up until about 2017, 16, 17. So it's always been a feeder promotion, really. Why not just lean into that and make that your strength? We are AEW's NXT.
Yeah. And from an AEW perspective as well, you made this point earlier, because ROH is now rebuilding that connection with New Japan through Marty. AEW quite clearly want to have that relationship as well. What better way to get into that relationship by getting into bed with ROH? So you then essentially you just sort of get into the system as well. Yeah. And we've talked about it many times in the show. They would love to work with New Japan. That was the plan from day one. Was that we're going to work in conjunction with one another, but New Japan were not happy with them leaving and starting their own promotion. So if AEW can get back into the good books with New Japan through ROH, that's a huge deal for AEW. That's what they want.
Yeah, and so it's the potential of having a developmental system where they can send guys like the Private Party who are fantastic, but they are green and they do get exposed sometimes. I don't know what Wardlow's like. But those you can give people more in-ring time.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy, they're all great. But
They're only wrestling once a week.
yeah, wrestling more is not going to hurt them. Well, it actually could injure them, but at the moment they're just doing it with indie bookings. You could bring that to ROH and make it a lot more, sort of considered. So you've got those two bits. Obviously, the New Japan house shows as well.
Yeah.
AEW don't have a live events touring market right now. There is no way for them to sort of test out ideas loosely. There's no bit for them to work out new gimmicks in front of the live crowds before they bring them to television. And as we've seen with the Nightmare Collective, the Dark Order stuff, Luther, you could test that stuff IRL before you commit to putting it on television. I think that's what I would do. I think that's hugely important.
It's always worth remembering. Kane, before he debuted in '98, was on the house show circuit for a few months beforehand, and they were testing out variations of the costume. At one point, he had a cape, and that was going to be, because Vince apparently wanted him to have a cape. He was going to have a cape for the whole run. So they tried it on the house shows, it didn't get over, and they were like, do you know what? Drop the cape.
Yeah.
And so then when he debuted at Bad Blood, you're like, oh, cool. He looks amazing. We've figured this all out because we've been testing this out for a few months. The house show circuit thing is really great.
Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Fantasy book some ROH AEW feuds. Let us know your sort of picks and what you think if it will happen. It feels like everything's coalescing in a good way at the moment. The mechanisms behind the scenes seem to be putting the train in one direction.
Yeah.